Erie Shore Drive will disappear, I'd imagine, in the next 10 to 15 if we don't do anything to address the ongoing erosion issues that face not only this community, but all of the communities along the Lake Erie shoreline.
So there's a drainage system that manages the low-lying farmland. But these cottages were built, I believe, by the farmers. They started building cottages here 50 years ago because this beautiful beach sort of happened. And somewhere along the line, maybe the road was improved and raised, and this particular property doesn't drain into the drainage system anymore. And it doesn't drain very well back into the lake. So what happens is when there's a storm event, the water has managed to come inside the cottage a few times. So our councillor, he brought a motion two years ago to City Council to put a drain here, and they denied that. They blocked it. So we've just been trying to come up with other strategies to not get damaged. How this works is we have a seawall, and that controls erosion. Chatham-Kent is mostly sand. So to be able to control the edge of the lake, we installed a sheet pile wall, and it's hammered down 16 feet into the clay. And that's a hard line between the lake and the land. My name's Andrew Spencer. I've owned this cottage here with my wife for 10 years. We're on Erie Shore Drive. So we installed our seawall a few years ago. That was a significant investment for myself and my neighbor, who's my brother and his wife. And we have a nice beach area. The water splashes up and drains back. There's lots of drain holes in the wall. It's designed how it's supposed to. There's two jetty walls that go out, and what they do is they gather sand particles that are in the water, they drop the sand, and they create beach. And it works really well until the lake came up to this level, and it just changes the way all the water and the sand reacts.
Trevor Thompson, South Kent Councillor here in Chatham-Kent. We recently declared a climate change emergency. And what that means for me, at least, is that we are going to hopefully develop plans and think a little bit more long-term and strategic in how we deal with shoreline erosion, how we deal with the fluctuating lake levels, how we build better, how we plan better. So when I brought it to Chatham-Kent Council, there seemed to be something that everybody could get behind and was interested in. But for me, when you talk to residents on the Talbot Trail, when you talk to people here on Erie Shore Drive, they're really concerned about the erosion on Lake Erie, and they're concerned about protecting their homes, protecting their families. So that was really the crux for me.
My name is Tara Cadeau. I'm a property owner on Erie Shore Drive. I'm also the president of the Erie Shore Drive Property Owners Association. It's an association that's been around for a number of years, but we've recently been formalizing it because we think it's really important as a venue for us to really build a greater sense of community in the area. But in addition to that, I think it'll give us a great venue to actually work collaboratively for shoreline protection. Storms are getting greater and the water levels are rising. You know, it's having an even greater impact. So some of the infrastructure that we have is really failing recently because of the increased pressure that it's under.
So this used to be my kitchen. My kitchen cabinets were all damaged. They were made of particle board, and they just totally doubled in size at the bottoms when they wicked up all the water, and they were ruined. So we power washed everything because we don't want mold to set up. I was flooded again yesterday, so I ran the pumps yesterday to clean it up. But fortunately now I'm down to the concrete, and it's a matter of just I run the pump and I run the broom, and I can get it dried out so I don't have spores growing in the corners. I can, So we had bought this place as a bit of a project, and we had fixed it up over the years. We had put nice wood floors in, and we redid all the walls in pine, and turned it from a 3-season into a fully winterized cottage. And all the work that we've done basically has been ruined.
Why call it a climate change emergency? Why relate it to climate change at all?
Well, it is related to climate change in the fact that the storms get bigger. When you lose ice cover in the winter, that doubles the rate of erosion, because traditionally in the winter when the lake freezes up, the erosion stops. But as far as the actual wording, that's the wording that everybody else is using. That's the language of the day. And potentially there could be money available for municipalities that declare climate change emergencies.
What people don't realize is that, the shoreline, that yes, there are homes and cottages along there, and the property owners are doing what they can to protect theirs, but there's a greater issue here and a greater threat, because that is, prime farmland. There's also a number of homes within the watershed here that are going to be negatively impacted if that dike breaches. And so our hope as an association is to not only work with our community so that we have, a consistent approach to shoreline protection, but to work with all of the stakeholders within the watershed who are actually benefiting from the dike being maintained.
I believe this dike is about 80 to 100 years old, and it holds back the lake for the farmland. Actually, the farmland, there's about 1,600 or 1,700 acres of prime farmland. So it's this black, really rich soil.
Very special.
It's very profitable. It's special, and it needs to be protected. So Chatham-Kent has a pretty good staff, actually. Their general manager of infrastructure and engineering, Thomas Kelly, he's a good guy. Tim Dick, he's the technologist in charge of drainage. He seems like a good guy. The Lower Thames Valley Conservation Area, they've been helpful. People think that cottage owners are an elite crowd, and I'm here to say that I know a lot of cottage owners on this street, and we're working class, blue collar folk. When we make an investment into a second property, it's for the long haul, and it's an investment. You don't get a lot of sympathy when you tell people that your cottage is in trouble. There's not a lot of sympathy from people, but it is devastating to a family.